Maybe you can give us a little bit of an insight of how you plan to expand the community for BeHodler and make it more known to potential future users.
Yeah, so there's alongside the liquidity mining event, there are a number of different kind of marketing and outreach activities that are in the works. So we're taking a very gentle approach to this, because the idea of an AMM built on a token bonding curve might sound a little bit daunting to newcomers into the ecosystem. So a lot of OGs will not necessarily need to be upskilled as much as newcomers would be. So the idea is to produce a lot of informational kind of in data, knowledge bases, those kinds of things, to help people get up the learning curve. And part of that will entail sort of marketing campaigns, more AMAs, more kind of community outreach, just to get people kind of comfortable with the idea and to understand what the differentiating factors are. So plans in the works, nothing will be kind of revealed or massively kind of kicked into gear until we get a firmer timeline on when liquidity mining will start, and then we'll start producing some content.
Awesome. And then the final question, I'll give you the opportunity to comment on impermanent governance.
Yeah, fascinating. In the Medium article that Justin's written, there's I'm gonna kind of paraphrase a little bit from it. So the issue of kind of governance is this provable human identity. So the things that sort of drive BeHodler, like quadratic voting, anonymous juries, dispute resolutions are difficult problems. So the DAO that Justin's developing is called the Morgoth DAO, and it'll have kind of unique identities that correspond to the minions of Morgoth. I'm sure many people will know who they are. I won't run through them, but familiar names like Sauron and Saruman and Smaug and others from obviously the Lord of the Rings novels. And basically, each of these minions will have certain powers, and each of those powers corresponds to a governance action, such as add a token. Some can be transferred between minions, some can be multiplied. They're all controlled by externally owned accounts or contract accounts, and control is subject to various games that include auctions and staking and so on. So we're working on a fascinatingly decentralized governance type of protocol in which there are certain actions can only be done by certain people within that kind of minion structure. At any point, these minions can swap out and experiment with different forms of governance. So as it's described in summary in the article, the Morgoth DAO is a DAO of DAOs. It's sort of a parliament of DAOs as well. So the idea is to decentralize a lot of the decision making into sub organizations. And it's almost a neat way of not clogging the system. I mean, if you look at some of the voting protocols, I won't mention any names. We always hate to kind of comment on competitors, but you see the hundreds of votes that are going on at different times across a range of kind of often intertwined and often, overlapping and often completely irrelevant topics is quite overwhelming, we think, for participants, and decentralizing the actions will make things a lot easier.